Hey guys, welcome to another episode of AB in the Films. Well, we talked about the movies I didn't like. Now we're going to talk about the movies I did like in 2012. And, you know, I looked over what I talked about in the last episode, and, well, I made a mistake. It turns out that the movie That's My Boy did poorly at the box office. It wasn't a box office hit. Okay, I was wrong about that. Still doesn't make the movie any better. Let's talk about the movies I did like in 2012. It's a really long list, folks. Argo. I just saw this movie last night, and I gotta tell you, I really did enjoy it. I didn't know what it was about, okay? I didn't see the trailer. I'm not that big of a fan of Ben Affleck. I'm not really that into his movies. I mean, Good Will Hunting, yes, I love that movie. But, I don't know, I'm just not a fan of his movies, I'm sorry. But this movie, an interesting story. I mean, I didn't know this was a true story. During the Carter years, which I didn't know were that horrendous, apparently the CIA agents posed as Canadian filmmakers to free these hostages out of Iran. That's an interesting story. I never heard of that before, and this is a true story? I never heard of it. But I did like it, and I understand that, here's the thing, I'm not going to get into a lot of Oscar talk tonight, because I think, hang on a second, I only like 3 films that are nominated for Best Picture in the Oscars. No, 2, actually. 2 were nominated for Best Picture for tonight's Oscars. And this is one of them. But when it comes to all the movies, I haven't seen all the movies nominated for Best Picture for tonight's award show. But I gotta tell you, Argo will win Best Picture. It will win. I remember last year I was hoping The Artist wouldn't win and The Help would win. Well, I got that wrong. The Artist ended up winning and The Help didn't. Okay, this time I know Argo was going to win. I don't want it to win. I think there are better movies out there that are a little bit better than Argo, but I have a very strong feeling it's going to win. So now that we got that out of the way, what can I say about this movie? Ben Affleck's character, I liked it. I bought into it. It was the first time I was looking at the screen going, oh, Ben Affleck, oh. No, I was really getting into it. This movie is nominated for Best Film Editing. It deserves the award for Best Editing. I love, the way Affleck, because he directed this as well, the way he took the stock footage from 79, 1980, and mixed it in with the it was unbelievable how, I don't know how the hell he did that, or the editor, or whoever did that, but man, it's good that they got the nomination. And, I hear one last thing about Argo. I know that a lot of people are ticked off that Affleck is not nominated for Best Director, but you know what? These award shows, they really don't mean anything. They don't, because I can think of a lot more performances and a lot more directors and a lot more writers that were overlooked. So, yeah, that's my opinion on Argo. Really good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a really good movie. Lawless. Okay, this is another one that has been overlooked. I don't think it's nominated for anything. If it is, good. This movie deserves at least a viewing. I cannot believe Tom Hardy was not nominated at all for this. And I really, I understand that maybe it was a little bit overdone, a little bit over the top, but you know what? I enjoyed his performance in this movie. Shia LaBeouf is being Shia LaBeouf. Jessica Chastain, who is really getting noticed a lot, I think the movie The Help really made her, noticed. Really good performance in Lawless. I really bought her relationship between her and Tom Hardy. Really good. The villain is over the top, obviously. Really, no motivation with this guy except to be a dick. But you know what I like? I mean, first of all, it is based on true events, and this movie, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to go into great detail about films that I've already reviewed. But you know what I think of this movie? I really liked it. It didn't get really noticed when it came out, and I really think, like, here's the thing. I think this movie would have been better looked at if it had come out a little bit later, because when films come out in the summer, usually the big special effects blockbuster movies are the ones that are looked at, or big comedies, you know, like Ted or Dark Knight Rises or The Avengers or stuff like that. This movie, I felt, had some good stuff in it. It got a little bit corny at the end, particularly with Tom Hardy's character. But aside from that, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I think I might just go see it again. The Dark Knight Rises. Okay, I've gone on a long rant about how I screwed up in the review. I got so many things wrong in the review. I apologize. I don't know much about Batman, to be honest with you. Like, I walked in to see the movie The Dark Knight, not even knowing what Batman's name was, okay? Like, that's how much I don't know about Batman. I'm not into comic books, really. I'm not into superheroes. To be honest, I only went to see The Dark Knight because of Heath Ledger's performance, of how well they were talking about that, and he so deserved Best Supporting Actor. But aside from that, Dark Knight Rises. I gotta say, out of all the Batman films that Christopher Nolan directed, this one, I would say, is my second favorite. Like, I honestly think for a lot of people, The Dark Knight is the best one. But for me, I don't know. I mean, like I think Tom Hardy did a good job of playing Bane in this. Very menacing, not as menacing as the Joker, but still menacing. I like the whole relationship between Catwoman and Batman. Like you wonder if she's. Hate it when that happens. But anyway, I really like, you know, Anne Hathaway's portrayal of Catwoman. I thought she was pretty good in that. Just, you know, there's a couple of things in this movie that kind of don't add up. Maybe it's because I'm not a fan of the comic books. Maybe it's because I don't know a whole lot about Batman. But I enjoyed it for what it was. And, yeah, it was a really good superhero movie. And here's the thing. If you're wondering why The Avengers isn't on this list, I haven't seen it yet. I apologize. This is the only superhero movie I saw in 2012. Didn't see The Avengers, didn't see The Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm sorry if you liked if those movies were good. I know The Avengers did really well. A lot of people liked it. I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I think I'm gonna go see it like maybe this week or something. But again, Dark Knight Rises, really liked it. I still think The Dark Knight was better than this, but for what The Dark Knight Rises is, it was a good conclusion. I love the way it ended. That was like one of my favorite moments in the movie. Really good. Yeah, next movie. The Hunger Games. Alright, what am I going to say about The Hunger Games? I did not see this when it came to into the theaters. I saw this when it came out to DVD, and I literally didn't know a thing about this movie. I didn't know what it was about. Again, very popular books. It's a very popular book series. Haven't read the books. So, but, you know, it got a lot of critical acclaim. You know, a lot of people liked it. A lot of critics liked it. And I took one look at the trailer. The sets looked amazing. I mean, it looked like this really big action movie. You know, I think this is the movie that got Jennifer Lawrence noticed, and she's nominated for Silver Linings Playbook. A movie that I still haven't seen. I want to see that movie so bad. I heard that movie did good, but really getting sidetracked in this episode. But anyway, The Hunger Games. Half the time I was watching this movie, it felt a lot like a Tim Burton movie, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look at some of the costumes and the way the sets are, it felt like I was watching a Tim Burton movie at the time. And I know Tim Burton had nothing to do with this. But I liked it. I liked the relationship between Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. Finally, Hutcherson picks a good movie. I can't stand those Journey to the Center of the Earth movies. I'm sorry, they weren't for me. I didn't like them. And I think Hutcherson's a really good actor. Really good. I really like the whole premise of this movie. I really do. I like how they have to go and, you know, I don't know, I haven't seen this movie in a while. I haven't seen it, like, since it came out on DVD, but yeah, a really good movie. I can't wait for Catching Fire, coming out this November. Can't wait for that. And Mockingjay, I can't wait for that. Can't wait for that too. So, but yeah, Hunger Games, really interesting premise, but a very appealing movie. I enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's really good. Check it out. Men in Black 3. Alright, I did not review this as a single review on AB in the Films because I was too lazy. But aside from that, I did see the movie. And for a movie called Men in Black, I mean, like, it's been 10 years after the second film, and I will say this, I do like the second film, I do. It's corny, it's stupid, I get it. A lot of people like the first one a lot better. But a lot of people said that the third one is actually just as good as the first one, and a lot of people don't like the second one. I like the second one. I really do. I really think the second one's really funny. Why didn't Will Smith do a song in this movie? I was so looking forward to the song at the end credits. No, he didn't do a song. I was really like, oh, about that. I was really hoping he would do a song. He did it in the first two. He didn't do it in this one. I hear that Men in Black 4 might be happening, so hopefully Will Smith will do a song for that. Josh Brolin, he looks just like Tommy Lee Jones. I was stunned. Like, perfect casting there. I felt like I was watching a younger version of Kay when Will Smith goes back in time. The villain is great. I thought the villain was just absolutely perfect, and his whole plan to get rid of Kay was really good to get his revenge. Will Smith goes back in time. This is, you know, for a movie that comes out 10 years later after Men in Black 2, you would think they're really running low on material. They're not. The only downside to this is that Tommy Lee Jones is barely in the movie, because most of the movie takes place when, you know, Jay goes back into 1969. But Men in Black 3 was really good. Yeah, it was, yeah, check that out too. Really good song, really good movie. I hope Will Smith does a song in Men in Black 4, if they do Men in Black 4. Ted. Okay, Mr. Seth MacFarlane is hosting the Oscars tonight, and honestly, I don't know why they chose him to host the Oscars, because he hasn't really done anything when it comes to the world of cinema, except direct this movie. I mean, like, yeah, he does Family Guy, he does American Dad and The Cleveland Show, but he doesn't really make any movies. He only made one movie, Ted, and it, by far, is one of the funniest comedies ever. Okay? Like, literally, I really like the way he took this. Seth MacFarlane said to himself, okay, we're going to make a movie where a stuffed bear comes to life. If that were to happen in the real world, what would happen? And you know what happens? As soon as the bear comes to life when Mark Wahlberg is a kid, the whole, like, the media goes crazy. It actually gets media attention, which is something we never see in a movie. When something miraculous happens, it's amazing how there's no news coverage of it, which would happen in the real world, and it does. And that's how everybody knows Ted, which does make sense, obviously. Every time it thunders outside, I sing the Thunder song. I just do. That song is so memorable. It's catchy. I always sing, I hum it in my brain every time it thunders outside. I just think of that song. Seth MacFarlane does the voice of Ted. And it sounds a lot like Peter Griffin. Like, the voice of Ted sounds like Peter Griffin. In fact, they make fun of that in the movie. Like, there's a scene where they have a party and Ted is sitting there talking to someone and he goes, you know, a lot of people tell me that I sound like Peter Griffin, but I don't see the resemblance. I love that's so funny. I love the fact that Seth MacFarlane, like, he pokes at that. I love that. Yeah, Ted, really good movie. Really enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, the ending of this movie, again, I talked about it in the review. The ending of this movie is so hilarious when the narrator is explaining what happens to everybody. You gotta I will not dare ruin it for you. You gotta watch this movie. If you haven't, you've probably already seen it because it was a big hit. Really did well. A lot of people liked it.